8 seasons in Green Bay. But Rodgers now with the Jets and Adams is with the Raiders. Neither have had much success in these new organizations. But the star quarterback Aaron Rodgers was recently asked about his superstar wide receiver, and you might want to listen to this.
You think Luke Getsy's going to utilize Davante Adams good in the new Raiders offense?
I love Luke Getsy. He's a fantastic coach.
Awesome.
And I love Davante. I can't wait to play with him again.
Can't wait to play with him again. Aaron Rodgers will be 41 years old in December. Davante Adams is going on year 11. So both of them have clearly surpassed the expectations. You played with them both. So mostly interested in what you have to say.
Yeah.
Should Davante Adams want to reunite with Rodgers?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He should want to reunite with Aaron Rodgers. And the reason why is because Super Bowl rings don't matter for skills. Davante Adams is chasing greatness. Davante Adams is trying to be at that table. When they say who is the best receivers to ever play this game, Davante Adams' name wants to be in there. He wants his name to be in there. With Aaron Rodgers, all that is possible. With the quarterbacks you're playing right now, you don't really have the years to waste when you talk about that. So with Davante Adams, it's about stats and getting his name into the conversation to being one of the greatest receivers ever and into the conversations to when I say I'm done playing this game, I don't have to wait more than 5 years. Right out of 5 years, Davante Adams is going into the Hall of Fame. That is what DA is chasing. If a Super Bowl ring comes with that, kudos to him. But he has done too much in this game to kind of let average quarterback play ruin that. And if you're able to get back with Aaron Rodgers, who you have really good chemistry with, where you have destroyed the NFL playing with Aaron Rodgers, stats-wise and all that, who wouldn't want to do that because you are chasing greatness? So I would not be surprised if at one point we seen this duo together again.
You see that smile right there?
I would
He
not
knows
be
something.
surprised.
James, let me hear your top 5 receivers to ever play the game.
To ever play. Out of order, because I'm just
Sure, of course.
Jerry, T.O., Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, and this is where it gets tricky because it's either Larry Fitzgerald for me or Antonio Brown for me.
Okay.
I will say Larry. I will put Larry Fitzgerald in there. When you talk about a guy that played with 97,000 quarterbacks and did what he did, I would say Larry.
The reason I bring that up is Davante Adams, to get into that list of whether he should want to play with Rodgers again or not, to me, now it's a matter of personality and what team he plays on. Davante Adams is not a super exuberant personality. You mentioned Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson, 11,000 receiving yards, 11,600, 83 reception touchdowns. Davante Adams, 95 reception touchdowns.
Yeah.
95. 12 more than Calvin already and counting. Davante Adams, 10,700 yards to Calvin Johnson's 11,600. Davante Adams is 1,000-yard season away from surpassing Calvin Johnson in receiving yards, but Calvin is clearly in your top spot.
Because
what does DA have to do? Can he still do it on the field, or now does it have to be about playing with Rodgers? Rodgers is a big name, playing for the Jets, a big franchise.
Well, I think the main thing Diaz showed you with or without Aaron Rodgers, I'm like that.
Okay.
So he's already showed you that. So now it's just about making sure my numbers are clearly better than these dudes. So when I talk Calvin Johnson and Davante Adams, I seen Calvin Johnson get treated like a gunner. I seen Calvin Johnson jump over 5, 6 people at a time making plays. Calvin Johnson was a lifetime player, like my man said about Aaron Rodgers. I believe Davante Adams is a generational talent, but Calvin Johnson is something that we've never seen. And I've seen this dude get treated like a gunner, but it was an offensive play.
Yeah.
I have not seen Davante Adams get treated like that, as special as DA is. So for DA to get up in that conversation with Larry Fitzgerald, who has played with, like I said, almost 40 different quarterbacks and destroyed the NFL, Tay has to get up there numbers-wise and pass them dudes in numbers-wise.
Which just goes to show why he would probably be well-served to get out of Las Vegas. Say what you will about Derek Carr. Derek Carr was enough to help Davante Adams be a first-team All-Pro in Las Vegas. So he doesn't need the best quarterback in the world, but Las Vegas is a quarterback wasteland at this point. I mean, Gardner Minshew did some good things in Indy last year. Aiden O'Connell, I thought, considering the situation, was all right in Vegas last year. But this is still one of the weakest quarterback situations in the NFL right now. Davante Adams is 32. You're talking about legacy. You're talking about chasing numbers. Davante Adams is a smart dude. He probably knows he's chasing or he's dealing.
What do you say, he's 32 or he's 30?
I believe he's 32 years
Been in the
old.
league 10 years.
He'll be
man.
32 during the season.
Okay.
He turns 32 this year. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
But either way, he is facing football mortality. I mentioned it earlier in the show. It's great timing when I saw we were talking about this. I've been watching the show Receiver.
Yeah.
Have you watched
Netflix,
it?
Yeah, I was watching it yesterday.
Davante Adams signed up to do this show, so he knew he was going to be mic'd up and people were going to know what he's saying. Yeah. And he's in the stadium talking about, I'm just trying to stay alive because his quarterbacks are leading him into these hits. He's getting annihilated every game. He told an opponent, in so many words, he was like, they're trying to get me killed out here. Like, this is not what he was used to with Aaron Rodgers for so long, a quarterback who's going to get him the ball, get him touchdowns, and also, as often as possible, keep him out of harm's way. He doesn't have any of that stuff. So for a guy who is closer to the end of his career than the beginning and has very definitive goals that he's trying to set, yeah, absolutely he should want to reunite with Aaron Rodgers. He should want to go anywhere with a quarterback who can help him get to where he's trying to go, which is a gold jacket, preferably a Super Bowl on the way. And I don't see that happening in Vegas.
Totally agree. The greatest compliment to any player, especially a receiver, for example, is whether or not the defense has the game plan for you. And I am not smart enough to tell you how you would beat Davante, how you would cover him, but I can tell you that when you talk to defensive coaches, DCs, they'll tell you that when you played the Raiders last year, the only guy you ever had to worry about was Davante Adams, okay? And that's with respect to a lot of really good players. But listen, Michael Mayer, and now we'll see whether or not Brock Bowers can do it, but this Raiders team is deficient at so many positions. They're just not very good. And I think Antonio Pierce has a chance to be a good football coach. And I don't like to be critical of teams if I don't have to, but it needs to be said. This team is staring at fourth place in the AFC West, potentially. And I don't know if Davante Adams is a top 5 receiver of all time. He's certainly a top 5 receiver in the league right now. And when you're playing the Raiders, you got a game plan for the guy. I think if you look at his last 2 seasons, 355 targets, 200 catches, 22 touchdowns, 2,700 receiving yards. So he's done it at a really high level without great quarterback play. But the big question here is whether or not he wants to go back to Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how any receiver would not want to go back to Aaron Rodgers, especially from Carr to Minshew, O'Connell. I mean, come on.
You don't like our talent at the Las Vegas Raiders?
Not even better than the Broncos?
That's what I'm saying. He just said fourth, and he said it strong, too.
He said staring at fourth. They could have been checking out third, but they were staring at fourth. Peripheral vision in third. But
that's what I'm saying. He said that like, man.
I don't see it for the Raiders this year, though, to be honest with you.
I don't see it either.
I mean,
You see it more for the Broncos than the
No,
not me personally. Not me personally.
Absolutely love the 2 best players on the team, Crosby and Adams. They're wonderful. But that division with the Chargers are going to be better.
You don't have to explain.
Right,
yourself.
The West
You don't
is
have
a
to
one-team
explain yourself.
division. Like,
You know, the Raiders, he on their payroll. You know, they signing his checks. So he got a job
I
to
would
do.
love to be wrong.
We got some good players over there now.
Well, speaking of great quarterback play, Joe Burrow is finally back and healthy for the Bengals, and he recently said he's going to remind everybody who